let's think about how now we can use these gates to do any circuit, any function that we want to do. So I want to prove this theorem, that AND, XOR, and NOT, again with the understanding that we can do these three implicit operations, is universal. The way we're going to prove that is by induction. So I'm proving this. In order to prove it inductively, we have to consider the base case, which is n equal to 1, n being the number of input bits. So n being the number of input bits. I'm thinking of this as a function f of x1 through xn. So first I have to prove it that for a single input bit, and we'll just consider the case of a single output bit, I'm able to use these gates to do any function that I want. Well, in this case, for n equals 1, the base case, this means I have a function of a single bit, f of x1. Okay? There are four possible such functions. The first one is f of x1 being equal to x1 itself. The second one is f of x1 being equal to its inverse, so the not of x1. The third one is f of x1 always being equal to 0. And the last one is f of x1 always being equal to 1. So let's try to do this as a bit of a active learning. So I want you to try, work with yourself or work with a neighbor, to construct circuits for each of these four functions. The only thing that you're allowed to do is use AND, XOR, and NOT, and you can also use these implicit operations. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to try to work out circuits for each of these cases. If we do that, we'll have proven the base case, and that's the first step of this proof. All right, how did we do with these examples? I'll do the easy ones, and then I'll ask you about the slightly less obvious ones. So if I want to do a circuit for this with x1, well, it's just the identity circuit. So if I want to do not x1, well, that's just not. Let me write it as not. And so I'll have x1 bar. Did anyone come up with a circuit for inputting any number and always outputting 0? I believe that's right. So let's try a fan out, x1. And then I want to do an XOR of both. Like this. So we'll have always, in this case, x1 plus x1. And if x1 is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0. If x1 is 1, 1 plus 1 mod 2 is 0. So this will always be 0. Very good solution. Any other solutions for this one? X and not x, yeah. So this will look like the following. I'll have to make a fan out and then do a not, and then an AND gate, like this, yeah. So in this case, I'll have the product x1 times not x1. And so let's work through it. So if x1 is 0, 0 times whatever is 0. If x1 is 1, then this one is 0. So 0 times whatever. So this is also 0 as well. So very good. Two good solutions for doing this. And there's many of them. You could come up with others. You could also just introduce an ancilla in the 0 states and then do an AND gate. That would work as well. And for the last one, how did I do it? I did an OR gates with the ancilla set to 1. So let's do an ancilla, always in the 1 state. And then let's try OR. So in this case, I'll have, OK, I'm using OR in my notes, and we didn't do OR. Of course, you could build OR out of these. OK, so let me ask the crowd again. Did anyone come up with a solution for the last one, always outputting 1? Various ways to do this. Exactly right. So you could modify this circuit, either of these circuits, to do the NOT of this, and that would do this. So let's write one of those down. So let's do XOR with itself to get 0, and then do a NOT to get 1. Okay? So various ways to implement these, but the important thing is that we can implement these. Okay? So we proved the base case n is equal to 1. Now we do the inductive step, which is where we assume it true. So let's now assume this to be true. For n, and then we need to show that it's true for n plus 1. Okay, so proof by mathematical induction. What does this mean? This means that we want to show that there exists a circuit. So that is, there exists a circuit using only these gates in our gate set to evaluate. I'll write it as fx starting with 0 and then x1 through xn. So let's label our n plus 1 bit function in this way. And we assume that we have a circuit which is able to evaluate any n-bit function. So we're going to do something that is both very clever and very obvious once you understand what's going on. But we're going to consider the following. Let's consider two functions on n bits. So I'm going to define f sub 0 as an n-bit function acting on x1 through xn to be this function f that we care about with the first bit set to be 0. Okay? So f0 meaning evaluate this function with x0 always being equal to 0. And then x1 through xn are whatever they are in the input. Okay. So now f1 will be similar, but I'm going to have the first bit of input always be 1 in this case. So f of 1, x1 through xn. So you agree that these are n-bit functions, and therefore there exists a circuit by our hypothesis that will evaluate that. So we've assumed it true for n, meaning that we've assumed that there exist circuits to evaluate these n-bit functions. Now here's the both very clever, and then once you see what it's doing, very obvious thing. We're going to be able to expand this function f that we care about. So we can write f of x0, x1, through xn in terms of these functions, f0 and f1, and the additional bit that we care about, x0. So I'm going to claim to you that I can write this function f in the following way. x0 bar, so not x0, times f0 plus x0 times f1. Can you see why this is true? You have to think about it for a minute, but so let's write out the bits of input to be clear. So f0 is going to be 0, x1 through xn, plus x0, f1 is going to be, sorry, I want to just have this be f, right? f0 is f with the first bit fixed at 0. f1 is f with the first bit fixed as 1. And important thing, sorry, I should have had this being XOR, so addition modulo 2, circle plus. Now let's look at this and see what's going on here. So there's two cases to consider, x0 being 0 and x0 being 1. Okay? So let's suppose that x0 was 0. In this case, I would want to evaluate f of 0, x1 through xn. Do you agree? Saying, I want to evaluate the function f, and I'm assuming that x0 is 0. So this would be substituting this with 0. And now look what happens by pulling out this x0. We said x0 is 0, so its not is going to be 1. So we'll have 1 times this thing, which is what we want, plus x0 is 0, so it's going to be 0 times this thing. And that's what we don't want. Do you see this? Clever thing, and now it's becoming the obvious thing. So now let's consider the other case. So now let's suppose x0 was 1. So that means I want to evaluate f with this bit fixed as 1, and then the rest, whatever it is. So in this expression, x0 being 1 means that the not of x0 will be 0. So this term will go away. It's 0 times this term. And then plus, what I'll have left, x0 is 1. And then here, we fix it to be 1. That's what we want. I wanted to evaluate the function f with the first bit as 1. OK? So it's a clever thing. And it's going to help us to construct a circuit for doing this. So we need to do that now. That's our last task. So I have n plus 1 bits of input. And I'll label them x0, x1 through xn. We are only allowed to use gates from this set and XOR not with these 3 implicit gates. But also, we have the inductive hypothesis that we're able to do this for some n, meaning that you now have 2 additional operations you could use in the circuit. They input n bits and they output 1 bit. These are the functions f0 and f1. So your task now to finish this proof is to construct a circuit. And the big hint is we're going to want to evaluate this formula. So you want to think about how to do this formula, not x0 times f0. And by assumption, we're able to do f0. XOR, x0, and f1. By assumption, we're also able to do f1. OK? So take some time to try to work out a circuit to do this. And then you will have proved that this is a universal gate set. All right, so this one might be a little hard to describe verbally. But roughly, you just want to implement this formula. And so let me show you how I would go about doing that. I want to evaluate both these functions, f0 and f1, on the input bits x1 through xn, right? So we're assuming that there exists some circuit to do that. So I know I'm going to want to do whatever that circuit is for f0. And then I'm just going to want to do that for f1 as well. So I'm going to just make a copy of these. So using fan out. And then I will evaluate f1 on these bits to get 1 bit of output in both cases. And then I have the bit x0 so far just hanging around. So now looking at the formula, I know I want to take the AND of not x0 with f0. And then I want to do the AND of x0 with f1. So maybe we can think about doing this one first. That's easier. So I would make a copy of this x0, send it down to f1. And then I would do the AND here. And everyone agrees that this is equal to x0 times f1. Right? I want to do something similar with f0, but I just want to take the not of this bit first. So I'll do a not gate here. And then I'll send it over to be ANDed together. And here I'll have the output not x0 and f0. So at this point, it's x0, not x0, and f0. And then the last thing is an XOR gate to have this expression, not x0, f0, plus x0, f1. And we argued that this was exactly the function f of x0, x1 through xn that we wanted to compute. Okay? So this completes the proof that this gate set, and XOR NOT is universal. It's able to evaluate any function which inputs n bits, and then we did it for one output bit. Okay? So you could imagine that maybe you want to have more than one output bit. It's not too hard to modify this to be able to account for that case.